Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Baileyton Drug Company Eric Tilson Show, presented by Starnes Barber, where we cover everything on the Tundra with the North Greene Huskies football team. As always, I'm joined here with head coach Eric Tilson. Coach, how are we doing today?
Welcome back to the round table.
I'm glad to be back. I love the round table. It brings that extra vibe to the interview. I love it. But we're 2 weeks out from football season now. We're recording these a little early. I'll be going on vacation, so we'll record this about a week and a half early when this will release right before the West Greene game. So we'll talk about some preseason activities before we talk about West Greene in the second half. I know last week we previewed the team a little bit. We talked about each player and ran down the full roster and did a breakdown. We talked about your schedule. Let's talk about some of the preseason activities you've went through. Scrimmages, 7-on-7s, camps, practices, all that. Talk to me about preseason. Talk to me about how fun it's been, some of the players that stand out the most. Just take us through your preseason activities and how things have been so far.
Well, obviously things start off pretty quickly in June, and that's kind of a discretionary period. We're sharing athletes here, so we got basketball players, we have baseball players, everybody doing a lot of different things during that time, and so we try to get work done, get our sprint work, get our lifting done, and then we'll schedule a couple 7-on-7s during that time. Try to get some of our stuff installed and just really work on our base stuff. And then after the dead period, we get full locked and loaded, ready to go, and we try to get all our install stuff done. We're coming in the morning. Then it's still lifting, football, scheduling more 7-on-7s during that, and then really for us, practice really get kicked off FCA camp week, which is a little bit later this year because the NFHS calendar has changed. But once that week started, we start putting shoulder pads on, and then it's an inclusive camp in terms of we're there for 3 days straight. So we spend 24 hours together. So we're able to meet together. We're able to eat together. We practice in the morning, 7-on-7s against the other teams that are there, and there were 7 teams total there. So there's quite a few people there. So that was a real good experience for us. Got a lot of good work done. We're able to slow things down during that time and really focus on, okay, what are we going to be really good at? And that was about the time frame when we started getting rolling offensively, and started having the considerations like, are we going to really become a throwing football team? Because quarterback's starting to throw well, starting to figure out like what he's comfortable with, and that was a good part about camp because I'm actually able to sit down with him in the middle of the day, like, hey, what do you like to throw?
Yeah.
And so that was a real big week for us, and we were real competitive in our 7-on-7 games, and that's when we started noticing real big play ability, especially out of Jake Duffy. And I mean no exaggeration when I say this, is like in 2 days of 7-on-7s, he scored 12 to 15 touchdowns. Right, and that's about 6 games total. So he was at least good for 2 a game.
2 to 3 touchdowns.
Yes,
yeah, that's
and
incredible.
It's not like we're doing anything real that crazy either. We were just running some of our base stuff, but to that big playability, we had some guys step up that never caught a football before. Started catching, and that's when I realized, well, this is becoming contagious, and other people are making plays. So it was a real positive week. From there, and then going into the first contact week, we come in. We have our first full pad day. It was a real physical day, and we have to be a little unique in how we do our live football because it's with 25 players. It's hard to get a good look and a competitive look between your starting group versus a scout team because you don't want to get kids hurt either.
Yeah.
So we have to be unique in our live situations, and we kind of leave our 11-on-11 time as more schematic type work. But that first day, I was like, all right, we've got full pads now. We can go full contact. All right, let's go. So we put them in some live situations, and we had some guys really step up, especially defensively, offensively. Defense just absolutely ran all over the offense during those drills.
That's encouraging to see.
Yes, especially because I'm now moving over to the offensive side. It's like I wasn't really happy that day, but it was good to see defense because I was like, okay, now we got shoulder pads on. We've made plays from the skill positions. Our secondary and our linebackers tackling real well. Our O-line and D-line's being real physical. It's like maybe we got a shot here. But we haven't gone against anybody else yet up front. So that's our big question mark. We've gone against some really good teams, some 5 and 6A teams and 7-on-7, some private schools and 7-on-7, and we've performed really well in all of those. All right, so how can our front compete? And then we get into our scrimmage that was supposed to be on Friday, got lightened out, so that it got moved to Monday. And we went up to Sullivan East, and I was really pleased with our front. They performed very well. They were very physical, and the best part is we threw the ball quite a bit, and our quarterback did not get touched. Not even remotely close to get touched.
It's even more encouraging.
So that was real happy, and we had a couple younger guys I had talked about earlier about whether they would be solidifying themselves in a role up front, and they played really well. And again, against a front that I thought was very improved from last year in Sullivan East, so that was real encouraging to see. And I already knew our playmakers could make plays, and they went out and did that. And it was good to see. The first play from scrimmage up there at Sullivan East, we run one of our drop back concepts, do a little sprint out, and Jake Tuffy takes a route, takes a 75 yards for a touchdown on the first down and distance play that we had. So it's a good way to start things off. And then defensively, our secondary was just taking it to them. And I just remember hearing a comment, it's like, man, this 1A football team's really physical. And they were asked, I was like, has North Greene ever been physical before? And I was like, yeah, we've been physical the past couple of years, but people are starting to take notice of that now. Because that's one thing, too. I don't have to coach it out of them.
Yeah.
They're doing that all on their own because they want to. So that was real encouraging during the scrimmage there. And then obviously we centerpiece around the run. That's what we want to do. That's who we want to be. And when teams now are going to try to stop it, we have some answers now. And it'll still encourage to see get Yeshua Vaught involved in our game plan. Got him the ball on some screens, and he took one to the house. And then there was one when he caught the screen, and he was tackled at the 25-yard line, and he drugged the defender to the 14. He actually probably drugged 2 or 3 of them to the 14. He refused to go down. So it just kind of shows he still has that tough run style nature, but now he's catching ball in the backfield. So those type of things are real encouraging to see, and to see our quarterback make really good decisions, take care of the football. He did throw one pick, and I told him off as like that was my fault. I called a bad play right there. They had their defense line started slowing down because of the screens we've been running, and I didn't realize they had slowed down as much as they had. So when we threw the screen, that D lineman didn't move, and he was sitting right where we're supposed to throw it. And on him, he's not supposed to read that; he's just supposed to throw it.
Yeah.
So that wasn't on him. So I told him, "Hey, you don't worry. You're making some good decisions. We'll live and learn. We'll move on from there." And then sometimes in scrimmages too, like you're going to work on things too. So we wanted to work on our screen game. We wanted to work on some of our unbalanced stuff that we're working in the run game, and kind of refine some of our pass work and get the timing down with some of the receivers and quarterbacks. And I think we've done that so far. And then this week, because of the change in schedules, it's been a little chaotic this week. First week of school, so we've kind of been light in practice for a couple days after scrimmage, and then today is Thursday, so we're going to do contact heavy day to day, and then take tomorrow off, and then that'll lead us into a scrimmage next week because our scrimmage with Claiborne County got canceled, so we're now moving on to the next week's scrimmage down at Chucky Note.
It's encouraging to see you play that well in those 7-on-7s against those 5A, 6A teams too. Like you said, it's also great to see that teams are taking notice of how physical a 1A team in North Greene is, because it's something that a lot of teams are getting used to, where North Greene's they're not a slouch anymore. Yep. They're a team that you need to take serious. I think a lot of teams in your 1A conference took note of that last year whenever you were able to win 3 conference games and take that 3 seed. But you're seeing a lot of teams in different classifications kind of take notice of that too. And you'll be starting off week 1, or I guess is it week 0?
I think they got rid of
one.
I think they got rid of the week 0 thing. So I think it is just week 1 now.
It's so confusing. I always just go week 1 because it's game 1.
Yes.
But you start week 1, game 1, we'll say that, with a team in a higher classification. That's taking note of how good you are, too. In West Greene, you started off the season there last year. You get to start off the season here at the Tundra this year, week 1 on Friday night, August 23rd.
It's been a couple years since we started the season off at
It
all.
has.
Yep.
But you'll start that season on August 23rd. We'll go ahead and cut into a break first before we preview that game against the Buffaloes. So we'll be right back in just a minute here on Grassroots Media.
Baileyton Drug Company services the surrounding communities of Baileyton with excellent patient care using a full-line pharmacy, over-the-counter selections, and a convenient drive-thru. When you visit us, you are treated as a neighbor, not a number. It's not just our slogan, but our culture. We're investing in our patients, local schools, and community. For over 5 years now, we have established ourselves as an independently family-run pharmacy that isn't driven by corporate goals. We are driven by what is best for your overall health and wellness. We're conveniently located so you don't have to make the drive. Prescription drugs are just the tip of the iceberg. We also offer natural remedies, essential oils, at-home medical needs such as walkers, rollators, bath accessories, as well as wound care products. And coming soon, basic urgent care services. What makes us better than other drugstores out there? When you frequent Baileyton Drug, you will receive professional, courteous, and friendly service that goes above and beyond any other pharmacy in the area. Remember, you're a neighbor, not a number.
My name is Robert Starnes. I'm a lifelong resident of North Greene County, where I currently reside here with my wife and 3 children. I was a barber in Greenville for the last 6 years, but I have recently changed locations to my new shop in Baileyton. It's at 285 Mortis Hollow Lane, Afton. I'm also a proud supporter of North Greene Athletics. Come see me for all of your men and boys grooming needs. Go Huskies!
Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's episode of the Baileyton Drug Company Eric Tilson Show, presented by Starnes Barbershop, where we cover everything on the Tundra with the North Greene Huskies football team. As always, I'm joined here with head coach Eric Tilson. So, week 1, game 1, whatever you want to call it, week 0, we still don't know. But you've got West Greene. That's the one thing you know for certain.
And
you know the opponent.
August 23rd. That's all.
You know the date. You know the venue. You know the time. You've got the Buffaloes coming up here at home, finally starting off the season here at home, which you haven't done since your first year as a head coach. So I'm sure you're happy about that you don't have to travel that first week. But preparing for the Buffaloes, what do you know about them and what can you expect going into that game?
Well, it's always an important game. 2 schools really close by. Everybody knows each other. So it's going to be a great atmosphere. It's always good to be at home, and it's a packed house. The visitor side's packed, and when both teams are competitive, it's really fun type of environment. So really excited about that game, and I'm glad we're finally having an opportunity to make it competitive. So it's nice that our kids have done a great job to get it to the point where it can be competitive and have important games here, and have meaningful games that they'll be able to tell stories 20 years from now. So that's the exciting part about that type of Greene County type of rivalry there. And then being able to have a competitive team, to be able to, like, our kids believe that they can step on the field with anybody, and it's not me trying to coach it in them. It's like they truly believe it because they're starting to see success. So that's the exciting part going into game 1, because there's so many questions. It's like, what is West Greene going to be? How are they going to be? What are they going to do? It's like a lot of those questions I don't even know.
Yeah, they're a wild card team,
and,
for sure.
And it makes it hard to prepare for, because they are changing offenses. They got the same play callers, same coaches, but they're changing a little of their identity, and kind of like the same type of stuff we're doing. It's they still have their core identity, but they're still going to try to establish a run game, because that's who they are. I can identify with that as well. But I do know, looking through who has made plays in the past, everything's going to run through their quarterback, and he he will step on most fields and be the best football player on the entire field. He is a force to be reckoned with, and you have to respect that. And you kind of got to pick your poison in terms of, are you going to sell out to stop him, or are you going to try to make other people beat you? Are you going to roll the dice and try to let one cover him, and that may or may not work, or are you going to go play base defense? And there's a lot of questions you got to answer when they have a type of athlete like that at quarterback. And I know they have some other kids, but when you got a kid that can run like that and make plays like he does, it really changes when he's at quarterback. It really changes defensively. I know even at the college level, it's like when you have a running quarterback, you're like, man, we got to add an extra hat, and which opens up stuff in the pass game as well. So they can be scary offensively, and then defensively, they're one of the better coach teams. They're always very sound defensively. Of course, that's what happens when you have consistency as a staff. Coach Greenlee's been there forever.
They were doing the coaching staff on Coach Monroe's first show we did by seniority, and he's high on that list. He's been there a long time.
Yeah, I'm sure. And when you've been doing it for a while, there's nothing you haven't seen. So nothing's a surprise. Nothing's like, we're not going to walk out and show them something they've never seen before. He's going to be prepared for it, and they're going to be ready for it. And it comes down to what kids are going to make plays when it matters the most, and that's really what football comes down to. So, and I know we have advantages in some places, and they have some advantages in other places. But right now, it's hard to tell because we are a few weeks out. Haven't been able to watch a whole lot of film. I know a little bit about what I've seen, but it's hard to make a real good assessment of
scrimmages,
7-on-7s, and a bunch of unknowns. And I just know Evan's really passionate. I can't even say it. Passionate. Yes, passionate about West Greene, and he's really passionate about football. And he's a young coach, but West Greene's very fortunate to have him because I've watched even just over the course of even just 1 year, kind of interacting with him. He'll do whatever's necessary to help that program. He'll learn new things, and I can see how he's trying to implement that discipline structure with his team, and I really commend him and respect him for what he's done. I don't want people to think like, oh, they took a step back last year from the year before. It's like, no, like he did a really good job last year, and people need to understand because this coaching community is real tight.
Yeah.
Like people don't realize like we're real good friends outside of here. Like all coaches like really support each other in that regards, and but he's done a real good job, and he will make that team competitive, and as long as it's after week one. I definitely like to see them really try to achieve their goals.
But before you play them on August 23rd, you've got a little bit left. Like you said, it's kind of hard to
it's hard to
gauge what you're going to see on the field when you've only seen practices and 7-on-7s and such. But you'll have a little bit more time to prepare for them as you see more scrimmages and 7-on-7s and stuff. But going into that game, it's the end of the interview. It's your favorite question.
Oh, yeah.
Hasn't changed. It's been the same for 3 years, going on the 4th year of this coach's show now. What are your 3 keys to the game?
Well, number one, playmakers got to make plays.
We've seen that a lot so far in preseason.
Yeah. I'm drawing a blank on my other 2 right now.
He was playmakers
make plays.
Great effort,
great
tackling.
Great tackling.
Playmakers making plays.
Playmakers make plays.
There we go.
You can overcome everything with a great effort and physical tackling.
There we go. Great effort, great tackling. Playmakers making plays.
Playmaker make plays.
Never change.
Never change.
That's all we've got unless you've got anything else to add.
Well, we are kind of a neat fact. We are in our 50th year of 50th season of football here at North Greene. So we're trying to celebrate that. So we definitely invite all North Greene alumni to come back, come watch the Huskies. We're going to try to plan something throughout the year. I was going to try to do something special for every game, and that's been proven very difficult with timing. And
we talked about it
yeah,
last week. When you
yeah.
have 100 hours in a
Yes,
week,
it's-
it
it's
adds a few more.
Yeah, it's hard to get that set up, but we really want to try to do something probably late in the year, do a home game, try to bring everybody back, and really have a celebration of North Greene football. And also, we are 6 wins away from 100 as a total program, so it'd be great to be able to get to that this year and be able to celebrate achieving that the century mark. So it could be exciting times here on the Tundra. So
You could get to the century mark in the half-century season.
yes, in the half-century season. So,
That'd be awesome.
yeah.
But if you're a former alumni of North Greene, contact somebody from North Greene, and I'm sure they'll try to be in touch with you later on into the season. But it'd be awesome to have an alumni night
Yeah.
sometime later in the season, and hopefully in a few weeks we can talk more about that
Yep.
as we go throughout the year in these coaches shows. But until the next time we sit down and talk, Coach, once
Yep.
again, I appreciate you. Best of luck when you take the field on August 23rd here at the Tundra. You've not
Here
said
at
that
the
in a
Tundra,
while.
no, it's been a while.
I know, but thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Baileyton Drug Company Eric Tilson Show, presented by Starnes Barber. We look forward to seeing y'all next time here on Grassroots Media.